Hi everyone, this is part 2. I am reading Hebrews chapter 11. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, in him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the sea shore innumerable. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is, in heavenly. Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared for them a city. By faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said, that in Isaac shall thy seed be called, accounting that God was able to raise him up even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. By faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. By faith Jacob, when he was a dying, both the son blessed both the sons of Joseph, and worshipped, leaning upon the top of his staff. By faith Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel, and gave commandment concerning his bones. By faith Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. That's how you do it, guys. Let's read that one again. That was awesome, right? He said, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Sin, we know, has some enjoyment, but it's all very temporary, and it is never worth it. Sin always is followed by regret. Unless you're not a true believer, then you'll just keep on sinning, and you'll go on and sin, and you don't feel anything. You don't care. You enjoy it. It's whatever to you. So if you are living in intentional sin and you don't feel anything, you're not saved, right? Um, I believe that's fair to say. You know, Disney didn't come up with the idea of a conscience with Pinocchio, the Jiminy Cricket. Um, the conscience, we all have a conscience. It's called the Holy Spirit. And now it's hard to wrap my head around, like, well, then how do unbelievers also have a conscience if they don't have the Holy Spirit dwelling in them? And I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of like how when an unbeliever is a little kid, they have a conscience, but then at some point, um, the older they get, the less they feel bad about things. So maybe that's kind of like the Holy Spirit leaving them. I don't know. I, I don't know how much sense that even makes. I'm just trying to like think things through. Yeah, in 26, esteeming the reproach of Christ's greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. Through faith he kept the Passover in the sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should not touch or should touch them. By faith they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, which the Egyptians essaying to do were drowned. By faith the walls of Jericho fell down after they were compassed about 7 days. By faith the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not, when she had received the spies with peace. And what shall I say more? For the time would fail me to tell of Gedeon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, of David also, and Samuel, and of the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to fight the armies of the aliens. It's kind of wild to see the word aliens in here. Women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance that they might obtain a better resurrection. And others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, yea, moreover, of bonds and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains, and in dens and caves of the earth. And these all, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise, God having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. And that was Hebrews 11. I kind of want to go back and count just how many times a verse starts with by faith, and how many verses start with through faith, like, and some of them start with now faith. Like, I'm gonna, hold on. Of Hebrews chapter 11's 40 different verses, I counted 15 of those verses, all starting exactly with by faith. I counted 3 verses that start in that chapter with through faith, and there's another one that you could count technically that says who through faith, and there's one of them that says now faith, and let's see, and some of them say something similar that says, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. So, like, that's like the whole chapter is basically just being like, by faith, this, now, like, I don't know. I think that's I love how they did that, how God did that. How everything in the Bible is so perfect and exact and intentional, and like, he's so personal. Like, that's one of the really neat, really cool, fun details about God, is learning just how personal he is. He he's so intentional with every little part of the Bible, and that's why he says, if you take even one word out of the Bible, let him be accursed, right? It's not what that says. Like, that's why it's so important not to take anything away or add to the Bible, because you're playing with life or death. Like, there's life being given through these words. It's alive, and if you change anything from it, you're changing what's life-giving. It's so serious, and there's so many Bibles out there that added and took away. It's craziness, but yeah. Okay, hope that bless someone. Peace.